right, it's talkSPORT on Radio Row here at the Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. Joining me, Darren Woodson. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, Jay. Listen, I've been on Radio Row many a times, and it's the same old thing.
You make it sound like a chore.
No, but I've never been on your show.
That's
Jay.
where we go.
And more of an international feel, and yeah.
Well, do you know what? I should have. This week is all about you. Actually, this week is all about you. I mean, I should have introduced you as Super Bowl champion.
Darren Woodson. Yeah, three times.
I'm sorry.
See, come
all
on,
right,
Jay.
okay.
God.
3-time.
Yeah.
Now look, let's talk quickly just about these few days before, going into a Super Bowl, multiple-time experience, as you say.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything that shocked you and surprised you about it? You prepare for a game, the same thing every single week, but the Super Bowl. Anything that surprised you about that?
It's just different. It's different. It's the media. My first one, it's the media experience, because you don't have to deal with the media experience during a regular season game.
Someone else told me the exact same thing earlier.
And it's your time. Like, you're used to, having a routine in place. So you get here on a Monday, you get to the Super Bowl on a Monday, and you have these days where you have practice, or you'll have media days, and you have to, go through the circus on a Monday or Tuesday, and then practice afterwards, and it limits your routine. So if your normal routine is you get up in the morning, you get an early morning workout when you're back at home, and you do all these things, that's out the window. Because now you have all these media requirements that you got to meet, and there's people asking you all kind of crazy questions, and your routine is off. So it's almost like reacclimating yourself. Like, Thursday is a day that you kind of get
back into it. You can
some normalcy.
Start preparing.
Yeah, you start preparing for the game, but it's just a different feel.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk Dallas. Yeah. Let's talk Cowboys, man. I feel like it is fair to say, maybe from a lot of fans are feeling maybe slightly despondent about the Dallas Cowboys at the moment. Maybe that's a nice way of putting it.
That's a nice way.
Yeah, okay.
Very, very
man,
cordial way
I'm
of
English,
saying.
man. I'm English.
Yeah.
They're not too happy with how it's all gone over the last longer than the last few years. That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's a really broad question. But is there something that you've been thinking about that you can put your finger on and say, this or that, this is where it's going wrong?
No, I wish I could put my thumb on it. But listen, there's been some teams, and I know all the blame usually goes from the top to the bottom, right? So Jerry Jones owns the team, and the Jones family own the team, and it's been 30 years since they've been there. But during that 30-year stretch, they've had multiple opportunities to get into the playoffs, and they just haven't gotten the job done.
Then?
And I can't put my finger on it because the team has been loaded. We can't sit here and say Jerry didn't put the right team on the field. There's been many opportunities. He put the right team on the field, but the team has to win. The coaches have to win. The players have to show up on in certain games to get to the next round, and it just hadn't happened. So, it's a little bit of both right now, right? If they don't make the playoffs, they didn't make the playoffs this year, simply because I didn't feel like they did enough in the offseason to bring in new players. They lost a lot of guys. They didn't do enough to bring in free agents to come in and combat those issues that they had. So, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't type of situation. But Jerry, it all falls on his shoulders.
That's what I was going to say, because the one commonality throughout these few years, you've got players change, coaches change. In theory, usually in most other teams, general managers change.
Yeah,
they don't in the Dallas Cowboys.
That definitely not going to happen.
So therefore, I mean, just by looking at it broadly, right? Jerry Jones is a common thing about the not being able to get it done over the last few decades. Is that fair criticism?
Yeah, absolutely, and he'll take the criticism. I guarantee you. Look, there's no better owner in football, hands down, and no better owner in sports. No one has gone 30 years without a Super Bowl or without a championship and still been the most relevant organization in the world.
Okay.
You hearing me?
Yeah, I understand.
The most
America's
relevant
team.
The most relevant organization, the most valued organization in the world, and it still hasn't won it. So he's doing, on the business side, Jerry has kept this.
But business isn't what people care about.
No, people don't care about business, but
he cares about.
Absolutely. See, Jay, here we're going, right? So it's a business. It's a family-run business, one. But two, he will take it on the chin. When you talk about criticism, he will take the criticism because he doesn't mind taking the criticism. It's his team, and he will die on it and figure it out. Hey, look, you can talk about the Cowboys, but you're talking about me.
But he doesn't need to be general manager. He's the owner. He doesn't need to be general manager.
Yeah, but he owns the team.
I understand. Hey, look, it's his right to be general manager, but I'm not saying he needs to be. In the usual circumstances, as I mentioned before, a different general manager comes in. Do you think that there is a possibility? Do you think that they should look at getting somebody in that and being the general manager?
Well, let's go back here. Will McClay is not by title, not the GM, the general manager, but Will McClay is the guy who's bringing in personnel, dealing with the scouting group that they have, the scouting department and all. Will McClay is the guy. In theory, Jerry Jones is considered the GM. So, look, Jerry's not going to fire himself. Let's just call it what it is.
It'd be interesting if he tried.
I own the baby. I'm not firing myself. This is not happening. And you can't blame him. You can't blame him for it.
You get it. I get it. No one says otherwise.
Right.
You know, it's just it's a unique circumstance, isn't it? It's a unique circumstance. Let's talk about one of your former teammates, somebody that has been spoken about a lot over the last couple of years in Deion Sanders as well. There's talk that he could have been potentially the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Hasn't happened. Do you think that would have been a good decision too early? Can you see it happening?
Look, I've been around Deion, known him for years, and I've watched him progress in his not only in who he is as a man, but also as a coach as well. I remember Deion when he first retired from the NFL. He was coaching at the littlest of little leagues, and then moved up to high school and then formally to college. He's always been a leader of men. He's always known how to lead men, and I thought that if he did come in, if he was given the opportunity, he would have did a great job. And when you talk about the Cowboys right now, you're talking about culture, you're talking about guys playing hard and doing the right thing. I feel like Deion would have been a guy that could have came in and made a huge difference with this organization. Now, understanding the business side of it, Deion had a $10 million buyout.
You think that made a big difference? Do you think if he didn't have that, then we'd be talking?
Oh, yeah. I think we may be having a different conversation, but I think there was so much more baggage that came along with what he had to deal with at University of Colorado that wasn't going to happen. Now, will it happen down the line? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it may happen, but Deion's going to coach somewhere. Not only just at Colorado, he's going to continue this growth in his coaching career because he's a phenomenal coach.
You think we'll see him in the NFL sometime soon?
I think we will. I think we may see him somewhere else in college first, and then we'll see him make the jump to the NFL.
You know, just one last question. We'll stick with the Sanders family. I don't know if you've been watching his son play.
Oh, yeah, Shedeur.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to be, a big April, big career, I suppose, for him.
Yes.
What do you make of him, and where do you think that he might fit and end up in the NFL?
He's going to be a top 2, top 3 pick in the NFL draft this year. And I've watched, I've known Shedeur and Shiloh. I've watched these kids grow up as kids. I mean, we used
Must be weird for you.
Absolutely. Deion and I had lockers, and we had a middle locker right between us, and basically it was the kids' lockers. And I saw him every single day. So I've watched him as a father bring his kids up, and he's done a great job with them. But, talent-wise, I think Shedeur is, in just watching him, he may be the first pick of this year's draft. And could you imagine if Deion did take that job? And let's say the New York Giants drafted Shedeur, and
I wondered if that had something. Genuinely, I wondered if that had something to do with, maybe Deion. I don't know if Deion wasn't interested or there was an interest, but he's been so explicit about him wanting to coach his own son.
Oh yeah,
and with Dak there, that looked an unlikely prospect in Dallas. I wondered if that had something to do with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. Look.
We're speculating.
Yeah, we're speculating, and I don't know if I think Deion, if the job was open and the Cowboys were willing to offer him the Cowboys job, you always accept that job.
Okay.
You take that job. But it just so happens that his son is a damn good football player and is going to be playing on Sundays, and there would be an opportunity you have to be playing against them.
100%. Thank you so much for joining us on
No
talkSPORT
problem,
today, man.
Jay. Good seeing you, brother. Take care.